Welcome back to the Graysmith podcast. I'm so excited you're here for this special 4-part miniseries based on my book, Close Your Eyes, Get Free. In this miniseries, I'm taking you on a journey to unlock the power of your subconscious mind and show you how self-hypnosis can help you break free from limiting beliefs and step into your full potential. In our last episode, we uncovered a powerful truth. Freedom begins in the mind. We explored how our subconscious mind is constantly shaping our reality, even when we're not consciously aware of it. And that brings up an important question. So how do we actually change it? How can we shift the beliefs that were stuck for years, potentially a lifetime, up until now? That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're breaking down the basics of the science behind hypnotherapy, what it is, how it works, why it's such a powerful tool for transformation. And if you've ever wondered whether hypnosis is real or effective, by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly why it's backed by science and used by millions of people worldwide. So let's get started. What is hypnosis? Sometimes the easiest way to describe what something is by starting with what it is not. So hypnosis is not sleep. The movies make hypnotherapy look like you are out of control, like you're in a blackout state, like you are unconscious, which is the same state we're in when we're asleep, right? We are not consciously aware of ourselves when we're sleeping in our beds, but that is not accurate. Hypnotherapy actually takes place in a state that is called the Theta brainwave state. Now, before I get into what that is, I want you to know that you naturally enter into and out of the hypnotic state daily. For example, if you've ever been driving on the highway and before you know it, it seems like no time has passed at all and you're pulling into your driveway, that's something called highway hypnosis. You essentially drop into a little bit of a trance-like state because you're doing something rote. You've driven this particular path a million times. You know where your exit is off the highway. You know your feet know what to do with the pedals. Your hand knows what to do with the wheel. You know how to check the rearview mirror. So you are alert enough to drive incredibly safely, but you go into this little bit of a trance-like state where time becomes just a little bit distorted, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, how am I home already? Another time that you go into the theta brainwave state naturally is when you're falling asleep. So it's not sleep, but it's on your way into sleep, you pass through theta. And same thing in the morning when you're first waking up and you're coming out of sleep into waking consciousness, you pass through the theta brainwave state on the way out. And so I always find it a little bit funny when people say, like, I can't be hypnotized, quote unquote, because that means you're saying you cannot access the theta brainwave state, which is just physiologically false. You do it every day, multiple times a day, whether it's, spontaneously in one of those highway hypnosis type situations or whether it's just waking up and falling asleep every single day. So now let's talk about how the various brain wave states impact us and the one particularly where hypnotherapy takes place. So we'll start with the beta brainwave state. This is normal waking consciousness. That is where I'm having this chat with you from here today. When you're in normal waking consciousness, that is where you can also experience stress. That is where you can experience fight, flight, freeze, survival mode. It's where you have your everyday regular conversations. When you're working at the office, you're in beta. Now, that means it's also your least adaptive state. It's the state where you can take in the least amount of new information. Because when we're in the survival state, fight, flight, freeze, survival mode, your body does not have the surplus energy that's required to create new neural pathways very, very quickly. And it's also kind of locked down. It's not getting a whole lot of new information or new ideas because the body feels like, I've just got to survive, so I've just got to do what I know. And it is not open to new information. Now, if you've ever been taking a shower where you're doing something rote, again, like washing your hair with shampoo, you've done this a million times. You don't have to actively think, oh boy, now I open the bottle, now I squeeze it into my palm, now I lather. Right? There's no actual energy being put into the fact that you're doing this task because you've done it a million times. Also, the negative ions from the running water can help you relax. So when we're in the shower, we sometimes get what people call those light bulb moments, right? All of a sudden an idea comes to you. Well, that's because you're relaxed. You're not in fight, flight, freeze, survival mode. You are in the alpha brainwave state, also known as daydreaming. So you're just slightly down from the beta brainwave state, but you are calm enough that you can hear your inspiration, you can hear your intuition, and that is required for you to be in a more relaxed, safe place in order for those things to actually reach you. Now, delta brainwave is sleep. That is when you are unconscious. That is when you are offline. And if you haven't yet listened to our mini-series on sleep, I highly encourage you to go listen to that next, because a lot of times insomnia is a byproduct of our systems feeling unsafe with that delta brainwave state, precisely because we are offline, because we are unaware of our surroundings, and it's really a vulnerable state. Again, we're not aware of ourselves sleeping in our beds, right? Now, hypnotherapy takes place in the theta brainwave state, which is deeper than alpha, so deeper than daydreaming, but more alert and conscious than sleep. So you are aware of your surroundings and you could open your eyes at any time. In fact, I call hypnosis meditation with a goal. So it's taking place in the same brainwave state that deep meditation would. But if a siren were to start ringing outside of your home, you would hear it, be aware of it, and you would be able to decide, does this have anything to do with me? Do I need to get up and go check what's happening? Or is this just a passing fire truck and everything's fine and I can keep going deeper? You do have that awareness. Now, Thomas Edison used the theta brainwave state and self-hypnosis, which is what I teach in Close Your Eyes, Get Free. He used it every single day to help him stay in a place where he could invent as effectively as possible. Because when you're in the theta brainwave state, you bypass the critical factor of the mind. The beta brainwave state, normal waking consciousness, is very critical because it needs to survive and it needs to look to see where there's threats and it needs to look to see where it can conserve energy. So it's going to put ideas down super fast. It's going to say, that's dumb, you're not capable, we shouldn't make a fool of ourselves, don't even try. The theta brainwave state, because you feel so safe and relaxed, you bypass that critical factor and you can say, oh, but what if I tried this? What if I did it this way? Oh, I've never thought of that before. Because if light bulb moments are reaching you in alpha, in the shower, daydreaming, imagine what reaches you in theta, the brilliant problem-solving ideas that can get to you from that state. So he would put himself into self-hypnosis every day. Now let's talk about why repetition matters. So we've discussed neural pathways a little bit, and essentially they strengthen with repeated thoughts and behaviors. So here's the analogy that I like to give. Let's say that anxiety has been an issue, feeling really stressed, really anxious, and we want to create a new neural pathway, a new belief system, a new habit, a new way of being that is based in calm, right? Like a baseline calm contentment. Imagine your brain like a jungle. And the first time you do a hypnotherapy session where you imagine being calm and content, it's like taking a machete and hacking through that jungle. And you create this fledgling little dirt path in the center of this jungle. Now, if you never come back and do hypnotherapy again, what happens? That jungle grows back over that fledgling little path and goes back to what it knows, which is anxiety and stress. But if you come back with self-hypnosis the next day, or if you meet with your hypnotherapist again just a couple days later, and once again, you visualize, you speak to that part that was leaning on anxiety and stress and instead encourage it to lean on this calm contentment and tell it why. Then it's like taking that machete and now your little fledgling dirt path is twice as wide, which means it takes twice as long for the jungle to eat it back up. So if you come back again and again and again, before you know it, you have this 16-lane highway that's been paved in your brain for calm contentment, and then that's when it becomes your new normal. So every once in a while, you can have a hypnotherapy session that gets rid of a lifelong unhelpful habit in one session. That is an outlier experience. It is not the norm. On average, it takes about 6 sessions done in close succession. So within 4 to 7 days of the first one. That's with a one-on-one hypnotherapist because those go really, really deep. If it's self-hypnosis, it's got to be every day for at least 30 days, sometimes 90 days in a row, to be able to create a new neural pathway that becomes your new normal and doesn't allow all the old, unhelpful, maladaptive ways of behaving to grow back in and undo your progress. So really think of hypnotherapy as a process of conditioning. It's not magic. It's not instantaneous, but it is very, very rapid. And this is why we see such amazing long-term results, because once you've got a 16-lane highway that's paved in your brain, it's nearly impossible for that jungle ever to come back, even if you give it 20 years, right? So hypnosis helps create these new pathways much faster than any work that is done at the conscious level in that beta brainwave state, because we don't have the surplus energy that's required to make those new pathways quickly. But in theta, you feel safe enough. The body's not going, oh, I got to hoard all that energy in order to survive. And you can use it towards creating those new pathways. So I'd like for you to actually experience what it feels like to create one of those new little fledgling pathways in your brain. And we're going to turn to page 24 in Close Your Eyes, Get Free. I'm going to help guide you through what is a very quick stress relief technique. It's a self-hypnosis process. And I want you to think of it like this. If 0 is zero stress, the most relaxed you can possibly be, and 10 is a full-blown panic attack, the most stressed you can possibly be. 5 and above is in the red zone. That is the stress zone. That is where our digestion is compromised, our cognitive functioning is compromised. It's where we're not showing up as our best selves, and it is degenerative of our physical health for the long term. 4 and under is the safe zone. So all throughout the day, if you were to just take 60 seconds to do this self-hypnosis process and get yourself out of the red zone and into the safe zone a couple times a day, you would be rewiring your brain to stay in the safe zone far more often than not. So stress can become a habit. We can be habitualized to stay in that red zone, even when things around us are actually not that stressful, right? If there's someone who's standing in line at a grocery store getting ready to pay for their groceries and they're totally stressed out over this, not because their kid's waiting for them to pick them up from school and they're late, not because in 20 minutes they have the biggest interview of their life or a project that's due to their boss that could change everything, but just because they're habitualized to feel stressed out. This process is what can rewire that experience with life and allow you to stay in the safe zone, allow you to meet life on life's terms, which creates so much more peace, so much more health, and so much more resilience in the long term. So this homework assignment might seem simple, and it certainly is easy, but that doesn't make the impact of it any less profound. So we'll go through this together, and then your homework is to practice this multiple times per day, 2 to 3 times per day until we meet again. All right, again, we're starting on page 24. So just noticing your starting stress level. 0 is the most relaxed you can possibly be. 10 is a full-blown panic attack. And then just sitting comfortably in your chair, place your feet flat on the ground, rest your hands gently in your lap. Again, please do not follow along with this if you're driving. Wait to come back to this until you're safely parked somewhere. With your spine straight but comfortable, let's go ahead and take 4 deep, slow breaths. You're going to inhale through your nose for 4 counts and exhale out for 8 counts. Breathing in for 4 counts now. In, 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, with your eyes closed, count down from 10 to 1, saying I'm going deeper and deeper after each number. I'll guide you through it this time. 10. I am going deeper and deeper. 9. I'm going deeper and deeper. 8. I'm going deeper and deeper. 7. I'm going deeper and deeper. 6. I'm going deeper and deeper. 5. I'm going deeper and deeper. 4. I'm going deeper and deeper. 3. I'm going deeper and deeper. 2. I'm going deeper and deeper. 1. I'm going deeper and deeper. Now take another nice, deep, letting go breath and repeat silently in your mind after me this powerful hypno affirmation. We'll do this 10 times. I am safe. I am calm. I choose to be here. I am safe. I am calm. I choose to be here. I am safe. I am calm. I choose to be here. I am safe. I am calm. I choose to be here. I am safe. I am calm. I choose to be here. Take another nice, deep, letting go breath. Going even deeper now. I am safe. I am calm. I choose to be here. I am safe. I am calm. I choose to be here. I am safe. I am calm. I choose to be here. I am safe. I am calm. I choose to be here. I am safe. I am calm. I choose to be here. Now go ahead and briefly imagine the rest of your day going exactly how you want it to go. Feeling happy, feeling content, feeling peaceful and calm for the rest of your day. See, feel, and experience yourself having a wonderful, calm day until you curl up into bed tonight. Do this now while I'm silent. See it, feel it, taste it, touch it, smell it, make it very real. Use all of your senses to imagine a fantastic rest of your day. And then when you're ready, put a smile on your lips. Notice your new number on the scale. Remember, 0 is the most relaxed you can possibly be. And then go ahead and open your eyes. Great job. So now every time you do that, it goes deeper, it lasts longer. You're able to do the countdown faster. You're able to repeat the hypno affirmation even more quickly. So that can go from being a 3 or 4 minute process to being a 60-second process. And when your kids are getting on your nerves and you're about to say something you really don't want to say, you can lock yourself in the bathroom for 60 seconds before that presentation at work. You can do this at your desk before you go into the boardroom. This is just a fantastic, very quick way to, again, get yourself out of that red zone into the safe zone, and over time, rehabitualizing yourself to not have a stress response when things are actually just fine. So this technique is designed to quickly cut stress down by more than 50% in the short term on average. And with repeated use, it will create a new normal of calm, steady balance. So go ahead and share a comment below with what your starting stress level was and what your ending stress level was by the end of our process. So on average, we see a 50% reduction, whether it's someone going from a 2 to a 1 or an 8 to a 4, or a 9 to a 4.5. And if you found that you started at, let's say, an 8 and you ended at a 6, that's perfectly fine. And congratulations on having that improvement. Go ahead, rewind, do this process again right away so you can get yourself from at least a 6 to a 4. There is a phenomenon called fractionation, where when you enter into the theta brainwave state, you come back out like we are now, and you go back in, you go twice as deep the second time. So 2 times in a row, whatever you need to do to just get yourself into that safe zone. All right, fantastic job learning that process. Again, your homework assignment is to keep that up. Do that at least 2 or 3 times a day. Keep yourself in the safe zone as much as possible, and it will radically improve your life over time. So in our next episode, we're going to take this knowledge and put it into practice. Now that you understand a bit about how hypnosis works, I will then show you how to rewire your subconscious for success, so you can start shifting limiting beliefs and replacing them with new empowering ones. Until then, go ahead and continue this self-hypnosis exercise to reduce stress. You'll find the full instructions also written out for you in the episode. But here's a quick reminder. So first you start by just taking 4 deep breaths. Then you count down from 10 to 1, saying I'm going deeper and deeper after each one. Then you repeat the hypno affirmation, I am safe, I am calm, I choose to be here. Then you visualize your day going amazing for the rest of the day. And then you notice your new number on the scale. Now, in my book, Close Your Eyes, Get Free, I take this foundational self-hypnosis process, and then in every chapter, we apply it to something new. So there's a chapter on peak performance. There's a chapter on increasing confidence. There's a chapter on overcoming fear of flying, one for weight loss. So at the end of every chapter, you take this self-hypnosis process and you make it specific to an area of your life where you'd like to change. So if you would like even more support, you can go ahead and find the link to my book, Close Your Eyes, Get Free, in the description of this episode. You'll also find a link to our Grace Hypnotherapy app, which has all of the companion recordings that go along with this book. And they are always unlocked, so they are free inside the Grace Hypnotherapy app. Thanks so much for being here with me today, and I will see you in the next episode.